Hi folks, with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio radio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about foreign student visa scams, and they're widespread, going, as I understand it, all over the Western world, whether it be particularly the Anglosphere, so United States, Canada, Britain, Australia, and so on. And you even hear about it in places like Italy, for goodness sakes, Germany, and so on. But it's particularly focused on the English-speaking world. Now, what are these scams? Well, they're sort of the mafia-type run scams where Chinese, particularly Chinese and Indians, they're the two as I see it. But also you get some of the Nigerian type, Ethiopia, that sort of thing, but Somalia, but primarily India and China. Again, Indians at the apex of this one. Got to remember in these countries that they live by corruption. To them, corruption is just a natural way of life. If you can outwit, if you've got enough cunning to outwit the other guy, then you're the smart one. You're the good one. You're the one who's going to sort of help the village and help the family. The idea of sort of working hard, doing productive things, that's for peasants. Cunningly outwitting, having that strict cunning, that's where the action really is. And remember, there's only a fixed pot of money in the world, so the only way you get more is if you take what the other guy has. So armed with these mentalities, so they're very deep within their cultures, and the view that if you're cunning enough to outwit sort of the white people, then you must be double smart. They come to the white countries armed with these views. Now, remember that you got nearly 1 billion people in India want to get the fuck out of India. They're gagging to get the fuck out of India. To a large extent, that these hundreds of millions of surplus population, the Indian government wants to get rid of their own citizens as quickly as they can. The Indian government is gagging to get rid of Indians out of India. So there's a lot of sort of support and impetus, if you like, for these scams to take place. So let's have a look at what they are. Well, say an Indian guy with a bit of cash, be a Brahmin, sets up a supposed school for something, anything. It could be a school for dishwashing. It could be a school for burger flipping. It could be a school to learn English. It could be anything. And they pretend it's a legit school. They then get thousands of Indians, tens of thousands of Indians to come over to Australia or other Western countries, but for example, Australia, saying, well, they're students, so they'll get these people apply for, with the help of these goon squads, they apply for and get student visas to come to Australia. And they're very support, they're assisted, and these guys will deposit $10,000 US in the person's bank account so they can show to the government, I got all this money, when in reality it's a loan they've got only for 1 day while they get that money allocated for 1 day just so they can do a fake bank account. Sometimes there's forgeries done there as well, in fact often. So they come to Australia as students, but it's not really a school or a college at all. It's a fake college. It's a front. That school then also has a labour hire firm attached to it. So they then run around and market these people to other Indian businesses or to take-out food stores. Sometimes they're in league with the take-out food shops that have been bought by other offshore Indian interests. So they're really just a conduit to supply slave peasant labour to the burger flipping, take-out food chain type, labour force. So that's all it is. They're bundled together, 20 to a 1 or 2 bedroom apartments, and paid absolute shit money. So the whole thing's a scam. So now there'll then be a number of these schools set up. So say for example, it's a 6-month or a 12-month or 2-year or whatever it is. The student visa has an expiry date. So then the student just says, or they're not really students. The supposed student then says, well, I'm now going to another college in Australia to learn, I did dishwashing at this college. Now I'm going to do burger flipping at the next college. And that's another 2-year course. So then the person, the scam person gets to stay in Australia for another 2 years. Now, in the meantime, their intended wife, and a lot of these are arranged marriages, from places like India and so on, or even rural China for that matter, then the intended wife will come over as a student, or supposed student. Again, it's all part of the scam. Then they get married, and then they have a kid. Then they apply for citizenship and so on. So it's a massive rort and a pathway to becoming immigrant citizen. Really they're immigrants, and then becoming Western citizens, or having access to Western citizenship. And this is the game plan. Then they can start bringing out their uncles, their aunts, their cousins, and the whole fucking village and all that sort of stuff. So it's an outrageous scam done on an industrial scale. But Western governments, maybe the most egregious they may go after, but even then slowly and very reluctantly. Because what it means is there's more brown and black people through whatever door, back door, side door, cellar door that they're coming in, that all these brown and black people are coming in on that. And that's what the globalists want. The globalists are directly instructing the Western governments that they all control. Say, look, get as many brown and black people in the fucking front door as you can. If you can do it illicitly, and so it can't be noticed or can't be seen or observed, then all well and good. You say, no, these people aren't immigrants. These million people, they're not immigrants. They're students. They're students. Oh, no. Don't worry. Yeah. Well, why are you complaining about the students want to keep? Are you a Nazi? So are you Hitler? So this is what the scam is. It's a massive labor hire, cheap labor, slave labor scam, using the apparition and the pretense of it all being education and students only trying to further their education and so on, when in reality it's nothing of the sort. In addition to that, when these people do get jobs, and they're here for the sole purpose of getting jobs, not for studying shit, then a lot of that money that they collectively pull gets sent back to India or China or wherever. So is that we don't even get the benefit here in this country that they spend it on goods and services at proper prices in Australia. On top of that, because their incomes are packaged up with accommodation and food and so on, all these people fall under the tax threshold. So they don't pay a nickel in tax, because the businesses that are owned by these offshore companies have borrowed money from offshore, in loan scams. They then use various means of arbitrage using offshore management fees. So their businesses don't pay any tax in Australia either, or the West. So the West is getting rorted and ripped off in every imaginable direction, while the government sits passively by. Our supposed government sits passively by. Now, if you're a white guy and you try and avoid the tax, see what happens to you. But if you're then, no, there's nothing we can do. It's all too hard. But there's talk recently they're going to crack down on some of these scams. And I imagine if they do at all, and I doubt they will, it'll be some sort of superficial cosmetic thing where a couple of examples will be paraded around for the media, and then everything will go back to the way it was. But if they do crack down on it, then we're talking, there'll be hundreds of thousands of students that are here illegitimately, hundreds of thousands that are here illegitimately just in Australia, and probably as many as 500,000 in the UK, if not more, but well over 1 million in the UK. And then millions in the US and so on. So this would be a political issue if suddenly millions, maybe 10 million plus of these scam students then return to India. If Western governments really crack down, then it would be a political issue, because the Indian government doesn't fucking want them. They're surplus to everything in India. So there'll be a lot of political horse trading in the back rooms to make sure that there is no cracking down on these scams. But I'd be interested in seeing your point of view below. You've been with Tacitus today, your pushback channel. Thank you for listening.